Welcome back to another first impression, this time for the anime, the most heretical last boss queen from Villainess to Savior Season 2. Synopsis on any list. Second season. Going to season 1, synopsis. It's one thing to get reincarnated as a righteous hero, it's another thing entirely to get reincarnated as a villain. Our protagonist was just reincarnated into the body of Princess Pride Royal Ivy, the last boss and ultimate villain of her favorite Otomo game. But evil just isn't her style, so she will use Pride's powerful abilities to sow peace and love instead of discord. Can she change the fate of this vile villainess, or is her role in the story already rotten to the core? Just a side note, why are you so lazy? I am the lazy one. Come on, just have a little synopsis. Now, this place, it feels like a couple years later. We are now more grown up. Our main character is definitely grown up quite a bit, and we just continue. We have our main character who is the Princess Pride Royal Ivy, or Pride for short, the red-haired girl. She has all these guys around her who, through her actions, she changed the story so far that all the characters that should be the love interest of the main heroine are now her love interest. They all like her now. And this continues in the second season as well. We get introduced to new characters. We see her future ability, how she can see a little bit into the future. Also, she has the game knowledge, so she knows what normally her character would do. And she just tries to change the story for the better. Now, her character in the game is pretty awful. What she's doing is insane. We get that reinforced as again. So she is in the game at least, she is a real villainess. Someone you would see as an enemy. 100%. She's trying to change that somehow, even though she changed most of the story. All the other characters that we get involved with. Last season we had like 4 or 5 characters which she normally, or her character would normally torment, and are now on her side. We changed the story so much, and we are still somehow following the story somewhat. It is a little bit strange. However, it is essentially one of those more classic reincarnated as a villainess, but I want to do good story. It's fine for what it is. Character designs are nice. Animation is fine. Story, we are just going from more or less arc to arc. It feels very arc based. We have like one character and we are doing all the stuff around that character. Then we have a little interlude. Then we go to the next character. That type of storytelling. It's serviceable. It's nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, the original Villainess, which we get showcased every now and then, that, in my opinion, is pretty rare to see someone who is really a villain in an anime, or would have been a villain, because the original Pride, she's doing some horrible shit, and it would have been nice to see that somehow, but we get at least a little bit of a glimpse and what would happen normally and what is happening instead, because we're interfering. Not much to say. We naturally have all these love interests that don't really want to go that extra step to try and get into a romantic relationship with our main character. Our main character is a little bit not really interested, it seems like, in romance. At least not, she's not actively trying to be interested in it. We do have a little bit of a progression. Can you say that? There is stuff going on, but it's never really going anywhere, which made me realize in those harem stories, it makes sense that the main character may not want to engage or try to get someone to fall in love with them because they are shy or whatever. However, in harems, you have like 4 or 5 characters that are interested in you, and all of them are in the same boat, that they are all not... They all don't want to take that extra step, which is a little bit weird, because normally one of them would be going that, out of their way. Just something that more or less came to me while watching the show, that this is seemingly the norm in those harem shows. Doesn't really matter. I do want to talk about some spoilery stuff, so let's go to ratings for the first couple episodes. Any list has it at 71%. My anime list has it at 7.23. And I would also say it's like a 7 out of 10. It's fine. You need a little bit of a villainous story, or a character that gets reincarnated as a villainess. You see what the villainess would do, but our character decides to take the story in a different way. That is what we have here. Now, to the spoilery stuff, not much. I mean, it is pretty spoilery if you are not familiar with these kinds of stories, so be warned, it is going to be spoiler. Now, in the first arc, we have a new character we get introduced to, and we resolve his whole story. Surprisingly, that character is going out of his way to try and romantically approach Pride, giving her a little kiss on the cheek and telling her that telling her that he loves her, which naturally prompts everyone to be like, oh no, our place, we need to, oh. I did like that. I wish that there would be more of that in this kind of story, because we have all these characters, all these male characters, and no one is being like, hey, Pride, how about we are in a romantic relationship? Now, she naturally is totally caught off guard. However, still spoiler. Now, while this arc was going on with this character called Leon, before the kiss was happening, she naturally totally blushing because caught off guard. They were together because the whole idea was that he is from a different kingdom, he's supposed to marry her, so the two kingdoms have a stronger bond, and through some rumors that spread story-wise, he has a bad reputation in his original kingdom. That is why he's coming here as a pawn to strengthen the relationship and marry Pride. He doesn't really want to, but that is what is happening. Now they play the pair, they play that they love each other and they're going to marry, and they play around naturally. Now Pride knows that he doesn't want to. He wants to be back home. He loves his country, he loves his people, he wants to be there for them. However, if he marries Pride, he has to stay in this different country where he doesn't like the people, at least not yet. Now, while this is going on, he naturally is trying to fulfill his role as the marriage partner, which leads to them, again spoiler, to be alone in the room, and he is putting advances on her. And she is accepting those advances. No emotions, nothing of the sort. it feels like they are about to sleep with one another to produce an heir, which makes sense. That is what they are supposed to do when they marry naturally. Now she's telling him, is this really what you want? If that is so, okay. But are you really sure? And that is naturally going to put him into a no, I don't want to, and progresses the story. It doesn't matter. However, they were close. They were very close to go, get an heir. So I don't understand how a kiss on the cheek is getting her all blush. Meanwhile, they were really close to just banging, which I may be a little bit old-fashioned, but I feel like banging is a little bit further than a kiss on the cheek. Now, maybe it's because this was more emotional, this was from the heart, and it hit her more. However, I still feel like the banging part is also, it doesn't help that, this is a couple years after or something. She is a grown lady. She looks like 18 plus. She looks fully grown, which did caught me off guard because I was like, did I miss something? Pretty sure I watched first season. I'm not sure anymore. Because in the first season, she was a lot younger from what I remember. Nonetheless, just wanted to talk about that. A little bit weird that she was all blush and embarrassed about the kiss on the cheek, but she was fine with the nearly banging.